All right, y'all, back at it with Megan Parker of Megan May Events. Welcome to the Wedding Venues official YouTube page. If this is your first time, glad you are here. We have cinematic venue tours that you guys can check out, specifically right now in Central Alabama. Megan Parker of Megan May Events. You can see the story of why she's called Megan May Events on the last video. And today we are talking all about red flags when booking your wedding venue, which people need to know these things, Megan.
Yeah.
And welcome back.
Thank you for having me again.
Yes, she's celebrating 5 years of being a wedding planner. She has a full team that helps design, meets with couples. You did this for years prior to launching out on your own.
Yeah.
And I know doing your own thing, doing your own business is a hard venture, but after that 3, 4, 5 year mark and you get the clients and you just have such great reviews and such amazing couples and brides that just love you, and it's just incredible. So you've done hundreds of weddings. I want people to know this. You've done hundreds of weddings. You've seen it all. Even me, who as a DJ or videographer doing hundreds of weddings, my perspective is me doing the craft that I'm doing, but you see it from a bird's eye view.
Sure.
And you see some big red flags when it comes to touring, doing the walkthroughs, booking, all the things. So Megan, tell us, what are some of these red flags?
Okay, where do we want to start? There's a lot of them.
Which, by the way, shout out to the venues. Much respect and love to the venues.
Absolutely.
You know, venue owners, we wouldn't be able to book these beautiful venues without you. And a lot of these, sometimes there's rules and regulations, but it's for a reason. You know, we have boundaries to be able to stay within there. But there are certain red flags that you guys, to protect yourself and your wedding day, that you guys need to know. So hit us, Megan.
Absolutely. So let's kind of start with communication. If a venue is having poor communication up front with you, it's probably only going to get worse.
Yeah, that goes for all vendors too, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's just a blanket statement.
Yes. Now sometimes, you know, someone messages me on the Facebook Messenger and it goes to the request folder and I don't see it until like a week later, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot to see that message and I forgot to respond to you. But hopefully that's not. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. So if they're having kind of poor communication with you up front, it might just be time to kind of move on. Now, there are circumstances where everybody's kind of dealing with something, and that's fine. Like, we do try to show grace in those situations. But if we're trying to tour your venue for weeks into a month, and I mean, that's kind of holding up our entire planning process.
Absolutely.
So if they're not allowing you to come for a tour, you know, relatively quickly within a couple of weeks or so, and they're slow at communicating, like, this is where your wedding is going to be at, and kind of everything is based around the venue. So we need to know those specifics, and we need to get into that venue to tour it so we can book your service.
Totally.
So if they're kind of slow, having poor communication, not letting you set up a tour relatively quickly, that might be a red flag to look for.
Okay, on this communication though, that is an overall thing about communication. Obviously, you have snail mail, you have email, you have phone calls, you have text messages, and I guess social media too. But from your experience, when people call venues, should they expect an answer or call back very soon? Like, what forms of communication should they be? Emailing, calling, and texting, all the things?
I normally think an email is probably the most effective, at least to get an initial rapport going. And then if y'all want to set up a time to talk, because if you call a venue, they may not be in a place where they can talk to you about your day right at that moment. So I normally recommend set up an email. And then from that, you know, you can set up a time to talk more in depth, or you might already get, you know, a proposal from a venue. They go ahead and send you some initial information to know if you even want to explore talking with them further. So I normally say shoot an email, get the information, and then you can kind of go to a different form of communication.
Okay, very good, very good. Love it.
Yeah. The next thing would be if they are communicating with you, but they're giving you vague answers.
Vague answers.
Okay. Yeah, we've never had an issue with that before. Okay, but what if you do? What is your plan to solve this?
Yes.
Like, well, okay, you've never had an issue, but I might be the first one with this issue.
Absolutely.
To not like specify just different elements of the day and what they would do in different situations, or just overly vague in general. Like there's not really any other way to say it, but you get a vibe from people, and you create a rapport with people, and you want that communication line to be honest and open and celebratory, because this is a wedding, and that's essentially what we're doing, is celebrating your marriage and your love for one another.
Totally. I don't know if this is written down as another red flag, but the vague answers. Also, with emailing and communication, you want everything that they say written down.
Yes, I have that point.
Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, let's just swap to that one. It's always good to get everything in writing, or at least the important things.
Yes.
Because sometimes with venues, they verbally agree to something, and they have no idea what they said to you.
We've been there.
We've all been there, you know. But if y'all kind of have a verbal conversation, it's always good to have your planner, or yourself if you don't have a planner, to kind of jump in and say, hey, it was great talking with you today. Just want to, kind of send this as a reminder. We agreed on X, Y, and Z. Just wanted to get your okay on this. And just kind of make some notes so that you do have it written down. And there is a point of reference of, okay, hey, like we did talk about this on this day.
Right.
Like you agreed to honor that. So be careful with what you agree to verbally, because one day they might say this, and one day they might say that.
That's true.
We had a situation like that recently, particularly around table linens. Are they included for free? Are they a rental? And then after the wedding, it ended up being an issue, and I had to go back and find our written communication with that particular venue owner. Say, look, you had agreed to this per this conversation verbally, and then in email you responded. And so she refunded her security deposit for her linens.
Yeah, that's good. Because there are lots of times, people don't realize this, but where there's a situation that happens and they're like, oh, well, she told me that. But when and how, there's no track record. You got to have the track record. Contract's one thing, but every little thing has to be documented.
Yeah.
And same thing for your other vendors. If something changes within what you booked, whether that's more or less for what you originally booked, you need a new contract. Yeah, it's more time consuming for the vendor to send that new contract or agreement, but you need that new in writing. This is what's happening, because if it's not written down, it's not going to happen.
So frequently,
Or might not.
Frequently, like we do custom packages, but somebody might want to add some additional services that they didn't have up front.
Oh, right.
So we'll go into that contract, we'll make an addendum to it, and then, okay, here's how much it is, here's your payment, this is what you're agreeing to, sign it and send it back to me.
Totally.
It's relatively easy, but it just protects you as the bride, and it protects your vendor.
Absolutely.
So that you've got it spelled out and labeled for everybody.
Yes.
Easy way to protect yourself.
So huge. There's actually an app too. There's a few apps, but there's one thing. It's called Tape a Call. Have you ever used this?
No.
Tape a Call. Y'all get it if you want to. I got it one time to try it out because this is cool. And basically, you can record your call and it'll transcribe everything, just like everything's instantly transcribed these days. And then you can get whatever your favorite AI tool is to summarize that conversation.
Sure.
So you as planner could use that a lot. I'm sure y'all probably do, but
I had another venue tell me, or a vendor tell me about a very similar app.
Yes. There's so many. Well, you can record even a phone call or a conference call, Zoom, whatever. Just record the audio and then transcribe it. A lot of these softwares already automatically transcribe. But if you don't, take that audio recording, go to ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, and then transcribe that whole thing and then summarize it. Because if you're in planning meetings, that could be a 45-minute meeting. I don't know how long these are for you, 30 minutes, whatever. And then you could have that recording, put it into AI, give me the summary. And of course, AI doesn't always get things right. And, I'm not don't encourage using AI for everything. But you can use AI at least to summarize some conversations and then say it in writing. So if you want to, get that app because it's pretty cool.
I love that.
It
could be a very useful tool.
Yes.
For sure. So yes, have everything in writing. Specifically, like you said, if you make any kind of changes, you want to make sure that's documented.
Yes.
Constant changes on what they verbally agree to. So we went over that. If you don't have a rain plan and you're not willing to come up with a backup weather plan.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big red flag.
Well, we've never had a big answer. Well, we've never had that issue. What if it rains?
What if it rains?
Are you going to hire a tent company to come in and do that? Is that on me, where I'm scrambling the week of my wedding to find a tent so that
Right.
my guests have some sort of cover? Are we moving it to the church down the street so
Right.
that we're indoors? Like,
Yeah.
what is our plan?
Yep.
They need a clear rain plan.
Totally.
Or if they don't have one, they need to communicate that very clearly.
Definitely.
So that then you, as the bride, can make a rain plan, or with you and your planner can make a rain plan.
Absolutely.
Just so you're protected.
So many couples think, on my wedding day, it's not going to rain on my day. Everyone thinks that. We were included on our wedding day. We're like, there's just no way. It's not going to rain on my day. Maybe on someone else's. We just have this feeling it's not going to rain. And a lot of times, maybe it doesn't. But it can and it will. What will happen if and when it does? So need to have that plan in place. And a lot of venues are very transparent about that. I think they're very transparent, at least if they've been around for a while and they know what's going on. And if they don't have an indoor space, a lot of times it will come down to you yourself providing the tent, not the venue, because they didn't do it. And tents cost thousands of dollars.
They do.
For sure. Okay, keep going, man.
Yes. We've talked about our poor communication. I think that's general with all vendors. I kind of wrote this down because I really love this line. But the prettiest venue doesn't always make the best venue. Because sometimes the prettiest venue doesn't have all of the elements that you need to have a successful event.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Just because it's beautiful and it photographs pretty doesn't mean that logistically it can fit with what you want to do for your day.
Totally. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. I love that. Do you have more red flags?
Those are the big ones.
Those are the big ones. We have more on Wedding Venues Official. We have Red Flag Friday that we post.
I love that.
Yeah, we post red flags of, when you go to book your venue. And I'm going to read through some of these. Some red flags would be extra charges for basic essentials. So like if the venue bills separately for, now if your venue does bill separately for some of these things, that's okay. But if it becomes everything, like all the tables, all the chairs, all the linens, all the, if you wanted to use this outdoor restroom, if you want to do this. Now it's understandable if you're staying overnight.
Yeah.
More hours and staying overnight, it's definitely going to be more charges. But some venues, it's
everything
cheaper.
is itemized.
Everything's itemized, right?
You're getting the 4 walls and the roof.
Right.
And then you're adding a golf cart service, you're adding tables, you're adding chairs, you're adding linens.
Sure.
You're adding extra hours because maybe you only have 5 hours at that venue. And realistically, you can't do an entire wedding day for 5 hours at a venue. So then each hour is $250, $500.
Yep.
And that adds up so quick. So just because it looks cheap on paper doesn't always mean that it's the least expensive.
That's good.
A lot of times it's going to end up being more expensive than anywhere else.
That's so true. And of course, I'm going to speak from a DJ videographer's perspective because that's the world I know. And I know DJs, I used to charge hourly. And, but the thing was, it got so cumbersome trying to manage, is this going to be a 4-hour or 5-hour or 6-hour event? And now it's a day rate. So you have me all day. I'm going to be there all day, whatever it is for the hours. For video, I still do hours of coverage of when the camera's out and doing it. But for DJ, it's just so nuanced. So it's like, it's there, I'm there, we're going to be doing it. So there's no, the extra things are cold sparklers, photo booth, all the stuff. And to venues' defense, some things require more staff. So, hey, we come with 2 golf carts, but if you want 3 more, it's going to be this number because they need to pay more staff. So, but when you get a price from a venue, and I'm speaking generally here, so I know y'all will come at me once I start listing numbers or whatever. But for example here, if you find a venue that happens to be able to host 250 guests, let's just say that's a lot of people, right? 200, let's just say 200, and there were only $4,000. By the way, great price, especially in Birmingham. If you find a venue, you can host 250 for $3,000 or $4,000. You got a great deal. You've toured it. It's great. It's beautiful. But a venue like that might be adding up, and it might eventually become 6 or 7 or 8,000. And you could have just booked a venue that was 8, 9, 10,000, and it was going to include anything, no matter what.
Probably included more.
Yeah. And it's, again, not always the case. I know there's always exceptions to the rules, but generally speaking, if you go ahead and book a venue or vendor that's charging a little more premium, they usually 8-9 times out of 10 are truly offering more to you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay.
No early or late access. We talked about hourly stuff. Strict sound cutoff times. Is that a red flag?
That can be a big one. I have this in a different section of notes. What to look for when you're choosing a venue.
Oh, talk about that, Megan.
So, if you have a noise ordinance or a sound cutoff time, say sunsets at 7 o'clock in the summer, and you want to do a 6 o'clock ceremony, and your noise needs to be done at 9:30 or 10, you might have to move your ceremony earlier in the day to be able to accommodate that and have any kind of dance floor time.
Right.
And so then you're not able to get a true sunset ceremony if that's what you have your heart set on because of the noise ordinance.
Totally.
Now, some people have an all-out time and you can add hours.
Totally.
So I think just having the ability to add hours in general, if it's not just an all-day rental, if it's 8, 12, whatever, because you might have some logistics. Some people include your vendor load in and load out time in that. So music has to be done by this time, but vendors have to be out by this time.
Yes.
That's ideal. Instead of just, okay, everybody has to be out by 9 o'clock. And it's like, we didn't get to dance. We didn't get to have any fun.
Right.
Because that's where you make all of your memories at, is on the dance floor with your friends.
Yes.
So I think the noise ordinance can be a big one, and it can affect that ceremony time if they're real strict on it.
Totally. And there are venues we're filming right now in downtown Birmingham.
Yeah.
There are venues right here in downtown Birmingham and downtown Nashville or Atlanta, wherever fill in the blank of whatever big city, because you're in a tight space. There might be a small restaurant or a conference center or something, and there's multiple events that are going on. So some venues don't allow subwoofers. And if you want it to feel, I don't know, like a club or something, you're gonna need that thump. You gotta realize if you have this venue that has a noise ordinance, you can't be thumping, like it's gotta be down. And some venues are very strict about their noise levels with DJs.
I've had people pull out decibel meters, drive across property and use the decibel meter, and then the people on the dance floor are like, you're outdoors, so people on the dance floor are like, it's not loud enough. But they are having to be conscious of their neighbors because they may be in a neighborhood or in a place that does have that ordinance. So those are all great things to think about.
Totally. Like on the dance floor, and same thing goes for concerts and stuff. I mean, when you're 10 to 20 feet away from the speakers, a good DJ, it can feel 100 to 110 decibels right there. And that's what feels good and normal. Maybe at like a heavy death metal concert, like it gets louder, but like generally, 100 decibels or some more. But and at a wedding, it's the same thing on the dance floor. You want it to feel that 100 decibels, but a lot of these venues, they sometimes I laugh at some of these rules because I see crazy numbers like it must stay at 78 decibels or 82 decibels. But like 82 decibels, when you get 40 people in a room, it's already 80 decibels. Like that's kind of like talking level. So it's funny what people think the decibel ratings are, but that's a true thing. For me as a DJ, if there's a noise ordinance or a venue owner that is always putting up their thing to the speaker and telling me to turn down, I was talking with Chad Ellis. He said the best thing I do if that happens is go on the microphone and be like, per the venue request,
I love that.
I must turn this down.
I love that.
So hey, if you have to go, and that's sometimes as a DJ, that's your cop out. It's like the planner said this, the venue said this. It's like, because it does feel awkward if you have to turn that volume down. What's going on right here? Okay.
Like, is it time to go home?
Yeah.
No, it's just too loud.
It's just too loud. But a good rule of thumb for DJs, start 50, 40%. And let it grow. Work up. Have headroom. Okay. But that's a red flag for me, though. The sound stuff is a big red flag. That's why I love those venues out in the country. Mallard Oaks and Mumford.
Yeah.
Over 200 acres. They don't care how loud you are.
And they're close to Talladega racetrack.
There you go.
So they really don't care.
They're like, whatever. Catering rules. We talked about all-inclusive and stuff. So we talked about rules before, but inflexible catering rules, like must-have vendors. With all inclusives, you do have a list of your must-haves and you can only use. But I think Some red flags that can be is your must-have is you can only use this caterer or only do this. But we've talked about that. Sometimes that's great for the decision fatigue. But we talked about weather.
I do think that having specific guidelines for your caterers are always a good point to have in your venue.
Talk about that.
Because you don't want somebody who's going to just drop off the food. You want somebody who's going to be full service.
Yes.
So they're there to refill, manage, bus tables, bag the trash, all of those type things.
Right.
You want that person to be licensed and insured. So that they are actually permitted by the health department and you're not getting 100 people sick at your wedding. So I think it's probably a good thing to have some kind of restriction around catering, but I wouldn't necessarily view it as a red flag, but more of just guidance on these are the things that you need to be looking for and these are the things that we require for health reasons.
That's good. Okay, so let's talk about a venue. They're not on our venue tour yet, but Matthews Manor in Springville, since you're from Trussville, right?
Yeah.
Trussville, Springville. And grandparents grew up going to Argo down the road, close to where the Texas Longhorns are over there, around that highway, and that little old rock church, the Argo Christian Fellowship, is where my grandparents went to church forever.
Oh, I love that.
So I love that little town, little area. Okay, so Matthews Manor, for example, they have, for a while, they had just one area and they built on, and they had Micah's Meadow across the street.
Yeah, beautiful.
So, but I had been there before when they booked multiple weddings in one day, different locations. Talk a little bit about that, which I know I've done weddings there and I loved it. And I love Micah's Meadow over there. It's built very nice and can be a good venue. But is there any issues with that, with having two events in one?
I think it depends on the venue. The way Matthews Manor is set up, each event space is contained and they're far enough away from each other. They all have their individual parking. It's not like guests are getting confused as what's happening. They have signage out front, this couple, this couple, this couple, and they clearly like direct people and manage that well. They also have a ton of staff, so they're able to put that on. Whereas somewhere like Parkcrest, they can technically have an event in the downstairs area or in the upstairs area. I think that's more difficult because they're right on top of each other. All the parking is the same. I think it really depends on the venue and what their capability is. But if they're kind of separated out enough, or a hotel has a rooftop ballroom and then they have something else in a different space, I think that's fine as long as they've got the staff and the spaces are clearly defined and separated. Okay, good stuff. Coming from professional wedding planner here, Megan Parker, Megan May Events. Okay, poor lighting, not really a big red flag, just some things to look on. Yeah, I think that covers it. I think that covers it for our red flags about booking. Do you want to share any information about how to go about choosing your venue? Yeah, we have a few points on that as well. So you want to know the load in and load out timing. So how many hours do you have in total?
Right.
Is it an all-day package? Is vendor load in and load out included in this?
Okay.
So all your guests and music might need to be off by 10 o'clock. When do vendors need to be out?
Yes, right.
Because if we all need to be out at 10 o'clock, then we're going to have to start your ceremony earlier. We're going to have to end your party earlier and all the things to accommodate us getting off property, because it is going to take time to break down for your rentals to come back and pick up all of those things. So knowing kind of what the day looks like as far as the hours that you have. That's always a good question to kind of ask. How early can you get in for hair and makeup? I run into this a ton. So often brides have to add hours because their hair and makeup artist needs to come in at 7 or 8 o'clock. If you've got 8, 9, 10 girls that all need a hair and a makeup service, they need to start real early in the morning to get you ready. If you're not doing a first look, your ceremony has to be earlier in the day to accommodate pictures on the back end of that, which in turn makes your hair and makeup need to be earlier in the day so that you're ready for an earlier ceremony. So if you're not willing to shift like your time, your whole 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever, up earlier to accommodate those things, can you add hours? How much is it to add hours?
That's good.
Sometimes that's $500 a pop. Sometimes you need 3 hours for hair and makeup. If your bridal suite, bridal cabin, bridal cottage, whatever is a different place, can I get into this stuff to get ready and not have access to the main venue?
Absolutely.
Is that an option? Do I have to add hours? Because we're not going to be over here in the main event.
Right.
We just need a space to get ready.
True.
And sometimes people are real strict on that.
Yes.
Depends on the venue. And then that leaves the bride going, okay, well, we need to rent a hotel. We need to rent an Airbnb. Who's got a big house with a dining room and a living room?
Right.
And so then that's making you kind of shift your plan for your morning,
Totally.
possibly spending more money on a rental, Airbnb, hotel, whatever, or inconveniencing somebody from your house. And then that adds in the travel aspect of it too.
Yes.
You're getting ready here. Now we've got to load up everything, dress, make sure we've got boob tape and shoes and jewelry and all the things,
Right.
make sure it gets in the car and gets to the venue.
Right.
And then we're just going to dress on property. So there's just a lot more moving parts and pieces if you can't get into the venue early to get ready on site. So that's one thing to always kind of ask, because there's a lot of factors in that one.
Yes.
Do they have a required vendor list? They probably have somebody they recommend.
Right.
Or a list of people they recommend.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Do they require you to work off of that list?
Yeah.
Is there any flexibility within that?
Right.
You might not like any of their photographers. And that's a very personal choice.
Right.
And then, okay, well, this venue is out because I have my heart set on this photographer.
Yes.
So is this 100% required? Their required vendor list may not fit within your budget. Everybody on this list is probably wonderful, but that doesn't mean that they're, in your budget.
Right.
So that's something to think about too.
Totally.
If you have to book off of it, or if there is flexibility and it truly just is here, this is helpful. They work here a lot. We like them.
Totally.
You want to know their weather backup plan before you book. Make people be transparent about that.
Absolutely.
Whether they have one or don't.
We need to know.
What is it? Tell me that up front. Then we've already talked about the noise ordinance, which was kind of a big one.
Yes.
Is anybody from the venue there on wedding day? You want somebody who is present.
Yes.
From the venue.
Right.
That person doesn't necessarily, they're not really your planner or your coordinator, but you need someone present there from the venue.
Totally.
To set things up, to be around if something is needed. Where is the light switch? Can these dim right here because we're about to be on the dance floor? I'm not just going to go start flipping your breakers.
Exactly.
Please come turn the lights down.
Yes,
is there a person around to help with those things?
Yes, totally.
So are they on property? What is their level of involvement?
Yes.
And again, we've touched on this in another video, but you want somebody who's present, but they don't micromanage.
Yes.
Because that's what your planner
like
or your coordinator is there for.
Right.
I'm here to help. What do you need?
Yes.
Everything else falls on your planner. And then we'll say it again because it's important. Some cheap venues get expensive very fast.
Yes.
Because then you're adding on those itemized things.
100%.
And maybe you're not even adding them on through the venue. It may truly just be a blank space.
Right.
Then you're having to bring in your rental company.
Exactly.
Which is probably more than it would be to just add on those services at a venue.
True.
But those things add up. So really you want to know kind of what they're offering in writing up front, what their level of involvement is, what their level of service is, and then ask the hard questions up front.
Yes.
It's your wedding day. You want to know and you want to be informed.
Totally.
And you want to know all of these things before you commit to have your wedding here.
Oh, 100%.
Because everything bases around this.
Yes, 100%. I mean, ask all of your vendors all the questions. I made this new graphic recently of like common questions that people ask me, like the FAQs, for like people. A lot of people ask me, do you have a lapel for the ceremony? It's like, yes, I have two. Actually, I have two. So one's a backup. And
you normally also bring a stand mic just in case something crazy happens with the lapel. And I'm
That's
like,
right.
praise the Lord, we love Carson.
Outside stuff, you never know. I mean, if it's certain times of the year when it's windy, the even if the wind might. Okay, anyway, I'm getting on tangent. So ask about.
It's
lapel.
all valid questions.
Ask about. If you want the clean music, make sure your DJ's playing the clean music, the clean versions.
Do you offer up lighting? Do you offer dance floor lighting?
Right. Do you have a dance floor if you need it? I don't know. All these things. Anyway.
All those are important questions to ask with a DJ, but especially your vendor. And I will say a DJ is my hardest vendor to make on my vendor list.
Oh, no.
Because I have real specific requirements, and I'm very thankful for you being one of my top guys.
Oh, I'm thankful to be on there. I know there's a criteria there.
You check all the boxes. You can set up in your work jeans. Please don't wear your dirty, muddy work jeans to DJ in.
Let's look professional.
Please have a separate ceremony system versus a reception system, so we're not moving speakers, lapel mic, stand mic.
You just need to be prepared.
Can you beat match? Are you going to play a whole 4-minute song?
Right, you're going to play the whole thing.
Are you going to karaoke in the middle of the dance floor? This is not about you.
It's not about me. Yes, exactly. Am I going to do stand-up comedy? No, I'm not going to do that.
All of the things. Yeah.
Yeah, I do hear DJs are like the hardest. I hear that's the hardest ones to kind of get consistent. I feel like I hear from others. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
like sometimes. But I feel like you could get a DJ that's like $300 with some speakers and some cheap lighting that happens to do a good job, and then you have another DJ, for a few thousand that also does a great job. So it just there's a huge spectrum. But anyway, good times. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Megan. Your expertise. Thank you for what you do for the wedding industry here in Birmingham.
Thank you.
And just blessings to you in the rest of 2026 and into 2027. If you guys want to reach out to Megan Parker of Megan May Events, you can do that on Facebook, Instagram. Comment here. We'll get you guys connected, whether that be her email or phone, whatever. Anything directly. And I know you have a team of people that work with you. I met a new intern today that you have working with you, a college student. Shout out to her. She's doing a great job.
Yeah, she's actually been with me managing social media for almost a year now. She's officially in her internship, and she's training to become an associate planner. So we'll be able to run 2 crews on wedding days, with Lily being a lead, with one of our other ladies, or one of our other coordinators who's been there for a long time, and then me with someone else running a different wedding.
That's good.
So yes, we're growing and we're expanding, and it's truly been a blessing.
Congratulations. You know what? That idea reminds me. I'm going to make another video, not today, maybe on a different day, just about vendor teams and companies, because it's one thing if you book a vendor, that one person. But if you have a team, there are certain things you need to know.
Yeah.
How long has that person been on with your team?
Where did their training come from?
Yes. Well, and we say that because I have seen. I have seen other photographers, videographers, DJs, where it's a company that's pretty reputable, and then they just found someone a month before, the company did, and just trusted that it's going to be fine.
Very often.
It's like, I think it's very wrong, and companies should stop doing that. And brides, if you do hire a company, just talk with the the owner of the company to talk about who is the actual person that's going to be there. What's their experience? Is it the actual style that you have on your portfolio and everything? That's when it gets hard, is when you, and not to attack your team building.
No, I don't think so.
Your team is great, and I love that you brought her on.
Yeah. So she's been with me all year. She's going to be with me probably another year, at least another 6 months. And then all of her training has come from me.
That's
so
incredible.
She knows our expectations and kind of how we run things at Megan May Events.
That's good.
Yeah.
Getting training from you. So it's another little Megan running around.
It is. She's fabulous.
One day 20 years from now, all our vendors are just going to be AI bots. Just no. Hopefully not. No.
That's a scary time.
Scary time. AI's listening to us right now, gathering all this information and making robots. Okay, y'all. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks again, Megan.
Every love story deserves the perfect setting. And if you're getting married in Central Alabama, your dream venue might be closer than you think. We've toured and filmed 10 of the most breathtaking and unique wedding venues in the region. And they're all waiting for you on the Wedding Venues official YouTube channel. The search for your dream wedding venue just got a whole lot easier. On the Wedding Venues official YouTube page, you can now explore 10 of the best wedding venues across Central Alabama, from romantic countryside estates to modern spaces full of charm and character. Each video gives you an up-close look at what makes these venues truly unforgettable. So you can see the details, feel the atmosphere, and imagine your perfect day coming to life. The venues span from the heart of Birmingham, Anniston, Munford, Rainbow City, Ohatchee, Albertville, and even up near the Coleman and Vinemont areas. We're so thrilled to see how this channel is helping couples like you find the place where forever begins. This is only the beginning. We are expanding to cover the whole state of Alabama. If you have any amazing venue recommendation that needs to be on our page, please comment and let us know. Visit the Wedding Venue's official YouTube page today and start discovering the venue that feels like home for your wedding day.